Good evening. If you think the real estate market is already crazy in this part of the province, wait till you hear the latest prediction. According to industry watchers at Central Mortgage and Housing, if the present trend continues, average house prices in Greater Vancouver could reach $1 million in the next few years. Exactly how many years is still the subject of debate. Ted Jurock has our top story.
Those prices just keep jumping out of the real estate pages, and every week a new edition brings ever-increasing asking prices. And the surprising thing is people are buying when prices are often well over $1 million.
Well, we are printing more money than ever before. Corporations are gushing cash. The mortgage companies are gushing cash. Government's running trillion-dollar deficits. And the extra cash goes to the rich first and then to everybody else later. And that's what we're seeing now. Enormous amount of easy accessible cash.
What we've also seen is the biggest single increase in real estate values ever. Here are the average house prices in the Greater Vancouver Regional District for single detached homes. 4 years ago, in February 2002, the average price was $390,000. February this year, $705,000. That's a staggering 80% increase. And if the next 4 years are like the last, by 2010, the average price will hit almost $1.3 million.
If home prices continued in the same pace over the next 4 or 5 years, I would say that yes, we would be in that kind of territory.
Are we in a bubble market now?
No, I think that our market today is backed by some pretty strong economic fundamentals.
Example, this North Vancouver house just sold for $1.52 million. And this tiny fixer-upper, asking price $699, it sold last week for $826,000. While no one can predict the future, don't expect this torrid pace to last.
At the end of this cycle, prices and sales will surely wane before the next cycle begins. But that doesn't mean that there's any kind of a housing bubble or collapse. It means that there's a slow adjustment period going on.
Because we'd never go up in a straight line. If you look at our past, we had 4 major corrections of about 17% over a 3-year period. But if you look over a 10-year period, we doubled and tripled in volume.
So get ready for the average house price market of more than $1 million, probably not by 2010, but certainly soon after a much anticipated, though relatively minor, market correction.
If house prices do back up before they start rising again, it will be something that we haven't witnessed for some time. In fact, there hasn't been a sizable drop in house prices on the Lower Mainland for many years. And Anna Gabauer has more about that.
It is the sound of a booming housing market, where record high demand for apartments, townhouses, and detached homes has made Vancouver the most expensive city in Canada. So expensive that some people are wondering if this boom is really a bubble, ready to pop at any time.
We in the real estate industry don't talk about a bubble. There is no bubble in Vancouver. The housing prices that are going up are on a steady climb.
But over the last 25 years, Greater Vancouver's real estate market has seen its share of peaks and troughs, market corrections where hot housing markets have taken a nosedive.
Interest rates would need to rise very substantially, or indeed the economy would turn down into a recession. Then, of course, the housing market would follow.
Back in the early 90s, high oil prices, mortgage rates, and a general decline in BC's economic growth created the perfect storm for the last notable real estate correction. In 1990, the GVRD's average sales price was just under $253,000. The following year, that number dropped to $206,400, a decline of 18.4%. But the correction of 1982 was far more dramatic. 1981 saw the average sales price peak at $166,000. Just months later, that average plummeted to $103,500, a drop of nearly 38%.
Next 2 to 4 years, we're more likely to see some easing in activity. Housing prices could flatten out, perhaps even take a small decline, but a major decline as we saw in 1990 or 1981, that's very difficult to foresee at this time, given what the outlook for interest rates and the economy going forward.
Greater Vancouver's steady real estate climb likely won't be reversed unless there's a major negative shock event in Canada or elsewhere in the world to again create the conditions for another market correction.
And one last thing about house prices. A number of the world's major cities are already experiencing the $1 million madness or something close to it. The average house price in West Tokyo is now slightly over $2 million Canadian. In the Tribeca area of New York City, also over $2 million. In central Paris, $1.3 million. And in London, the average price has climbed to its highest level yet, $842,000 Canadian.